Hi, I'm Danny and these are my Diecast Disasters. In this video I'm going to be restoring and customizing a Corgi Junior's Buick Regal and a Corgi Junior's Caravan. Now I've looked a bit online and to be honest I can't really tell which years these were produced exactly. Corgi did produce this Buick as Kojak's Buick, but I don't think this is a Kojak model. I could be wrong, but I don't think it is. And the Caravan, I think, was the early 70s. In 1972, you could buy it with a Rover pulling it. Anyway, let's just take a closer look at them here. The Buick here is not in too bad condition really. A little bit of chipped and scuffed paint. The windscreen's all there. It's missing heaps of chrome off of those bumpers. Otherwise it's just pretty tidy. And our Caravan here, somebody's given it a Batman paint job. They've blacked over those nice clear windows. Trust me, there is nice clear windows under there. It's got a broken tow hook there. The base is otherwise alright. It's got a bit of paint splotched on it. And it's missing the door there. So let's get on and take them apart so that we can start fixing them up. There's 3 posts on the Buick which need to be drilled out, and then I can pop the base off and take it all apart. They're not of a sturdy quality, these old plastic Corgi bases, so just be a bit careful when you're taking them apart. And the Caravan has 2 posts. They were both outies, so I ended up just using a round burr on my rotary tool to wear them down rather than a drill. And then I could pop off the base there and take the Caravan apart as well. So when people paint all over the models like this, the paint leaks down in between the windscreen and the body, and it can often be really difficult to take off. Now I messed around with this for over 10 minutes, trying not to break the plastic windscreen, but eventually it did end up cracking in a couple of areas. So that was a bit of a disappointment, as I would have liked to have cleaned it up and reused it, but at the same time I guess they are flat windows, so they won't be too hard to replace. With the models taken apart, I can take these castings here and strip the paint off them with some poly stripper. Here they go after paint stripping. There's a few scraps of paint left on them and they're a bit dull with oxidation, so I'll give them a clean up with a wire brush on my rotary tool. And here they are after a clean up, looking a lot nicer and shinier. Before I move on with painting, I'll just make a new door to go on the Caravan. Just take some measurements there, and then I'm going to cut my door out of some styrene sheet here. Now I can give this a bit of a sand and fit it into the side of my Caravan. Now I'll glue on a couple of little pegs on the top and the bottom to hold it in place. I did try to get it to be able to open and close, but it doesn't do it very well. And lastly, I just glued a little handle on it there. So now I can move on with some painting. I'll start by giving the body of the Buick an undercoat of white. And now I'm going to paint my Buick a deep blue colour. Next, I mask off the top of the car. And I'm going to paint this a deep maroony red. It's looking pretty tidy now. Next I left it to cure well, then I detailed it and finished it with a couple of coats of gloss. For the Caravan, I started off by undercoating the door and the body in white. And then I painted them both in a cream colour. Next I'm going to add some light blue panels to this. I'm going to do it in 2 stages. First of all, I mask off the side panels. And these were painted blue, and I could remove the masking there. And next I masked off the rear and front panels, and these were given the same blue paint. And there we go, there's our Caravan body painted. I finished this with a satin varnish. Here's some windows that I've cut out to replace the broken ones. And I'm just going to use a tiny amount of glue to glue those in place. Now I can move on to this interior for the Caravan. This will be quite fun to detail. Start out with a white undercoat on top and a black underneath. I detailed the interior mainly in a light blue colour like the outside. I also printed out some 70s floral designs on some paper, and then I cut this out and glued it on in my interior with some watered down PVA. I think that looks quite 70s. And here's the base of the Caravan. It's also got that table section from the interior. It has a few scraps of paint on it, but I think for what it's worth I'm not going to worry about them. So again, I start with a white undercoat on this. Next I paint the end there in the cream colour. And once this was well dried, I masked it off. And then I'm going to paint the bottom in black. And here it is after I've detailed in the table and some rear lights. Here's our little broken tow hitch from the trailer. I'm going to have to fix this up, so I start by filling it up there with some epoxy putty. I let this cure thoroughly until it was really hard, and then I sanded it down to shape. And now I'm going to cover it with some black Starbond super glue and let that set, and that's really going to reinforce it and strengthen it. And here I've drilled a new little hole through it, and now I'm going to file it down flat. And here it is, all repaired. You can see that black super glue's gone down into all the little cracks and stuff, which will really make it a lot stronger. And this was just painted black. Here's the interior of the Buick. It's got the rear and front bumpers on it as well, so it's all chrome. I'm not wanting that on there, so I'll take it off. I'm just using some hot water with some caustic soda. So this is real-time footage. You can see just how fast it takes the chrome off of there. As you can see, most of it's already gone. Now I can take this to my sink and tip it out and give it all a good rinsing. And here's our interior section with all the chrome removed from it. Now I can dry it off and go about painting it. I begin by undercoating it in black. Next I mask off those bumpers there, and I'm going to paint the interior in blue, as a lot of the Buicks I looked at had nice coloured leather interiors that matched the colours of the car. Now I can mask off that interior there and paint the bumpers in a nice chrome. I've also glued on a little tow bar there. Onto the base of the Buick. I'm going to have to start by removing these old wheels, as I'm going to be replacing them. And with the wheels removed, I then just gave it a nice coat of black paint. Here's the windscreen of the Buick. It's actually in a really good nick. There's no cracks in it at all, just a little bit scuffed. So I just gave it a wash and then a quick polish, and I think it came up looking pretty good. And finally, we'll just take a look at these old Corgi wheels here. They're actually not in the worst condition in the world, but they're pretty ugly, so we're going to be replacing them with these nice new aftermarket ones. And the same with the Caravan wheels. Got these little ones here I'm going to use. I'm just going to paint over the livery on the tyre there. So that was a few steps, but here we are with all the parts of our Buick and our Caravan refurbished, repainted and ready to go back together. I reassembled these off camera. There wasn't anything too tricky about it. Those green light wheels for the Buick just press onto the axles. But before we take a look at our finished customs, let's just take a moment to look back and be reminded of what we started with. Here is our old Buick, looking fairly worn there. Must have seen plenty of playtime in its day, but at the same time it's still in pretty decent nick. The windscreen's not broken or anything. It's all there. It's a great candidate for a custom makeover. So let's see what we can do with it. And here it is, our custom Buick Regal. The old worn out brown paint is gone and it's got a nice new blue and maroon paint job. The bumpers and grille have been re-chromed. The interior's been painted a nice blue and it's got a nice new set of wheels. I definitely think it's looking a lot smarter with its nice new shiny paint job, and those wheels really look a heap better on it. And it's even had that tow ball added there so that it can tow the Caravan around. Did you have this toy when you were young, or did you own a Buick Regal? I believe this is the 72 to 77 model, although the rear window there seems a bit wrong to me. And here is the before of our little Caravan. This is certainly a bit of a die-cast disaster with its rough old black paint job there. I guess some little boy thought it would look cool black, but really it just looks a bit of a mess. It's not in the worst condition physically, but it does have that broken tow hitch there. So that kind of puts it out of action for going on a road trip. Let's see what we can do with it. And here it is, our finished Corgi Junior's Caravan. It's been brightened up quite considerably with a nice new light blue and cream paint job. You can see through the windows now into that interior that's also been detailed. It's had that missing door replaced, and it's got a nice new set of wheels on it. It's also had the tow hitch repaired there, so we'll be able to hook it onto our Buick and take it out for a weekend away. So there we go. I definitely think it's looking a lot smarter. You can let me know what you think of the customs down in the comments below. You'll also find some links down there to some cool similar videos that I've made, and a link to my Patreon page where you can join up and help to support the channel. You'll also get your name in the credits and a shout out, and you get access to a little bit of extra content. And best of all, you can help me to keep making videos like this for you to watch. You'll also find a link to get 10% off of the Starbond super glue with the code Danny10. This is an awesome product. There's an accelerator with it. I use it in virtually all of my builds now. You can see I used it in this one to reinforce that tow hitch there. Before I go, I'll just welcome all of my new subscribers and say a massive thanks to everyone for the awesome comments and likes on my videos. As always, an extra special thanks to my awesome Patreon supporters. Thanks heaps for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to subscribe and hit the bell, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends.